Hi, I'm Haley, and today I'm going to be talking about self-concept. So in chapter 8, it talks a lot about how we develop our self-concept in our middle childhood, and I think a huge role that plays into this is our social comparison. So I think our social comparison plays a huge role in this because when we are in our middle childhood, we are constantly comparing ourselves to our friends or people in our class or just maybe people that we play sports with. And I think even at school, like if you see all your friends wearing a type of shoe that you don't have, that can make you feel like maybe you're not as good as your friends. And I think kids are constantly comparing themselves to others. And I think that this affects self-esteem so much at this age. I think self-esteem is so affected by our social comparison because a kid's self-esteem can be so easily lowered just because they might not have the same clothes as their friends, or maybe they don't run as fast as their friends. And I think that it plays a huge role into our self-concept. I think that family function has an impact on a child's self-concept also. If they feel neglected by their family, I think it's easier for their self-concept to be lower and their self-esteem to be lower. But I think if their family is giving them support academically and socially and is giving them a nurturing home and making them feel heard, I think it will easily help their self-esteem stay higher, which I think will also make their self-concept stay in a healthier place. Also, in the article that I attached about this topic, it talks a lot about how culture affects our self-concept, and I find that to be really interesting because I had no idea that our culture and where we're from affects our self-concept. And I think that it's really important for everyone to learn about it because I think it'll help understand what other people go through and how other people view themselves, just how from where they grew up and from where their culture is. And for example, in China and Japan, parents and social culture stress interdependence, whereas many Western parents and their culture emphasize self-assertion. And so basically what I took from that is in Japan or China, if I would introduce myself, I would be like, hi, I'm Haley and I'm in college. Whereas in the Western culture, we have more individuality. Sorry, I don't know if I said that right, but it's more like, hi, I'm Haley and I like to play volleyball. And it gives me more of something personal more to me, more than as in Japan and China. It's more as a more broad spectrum of me, and if that makes sense. And I think it'd be really interesting for y'all to look into that article, and it just helps more understand, self-concept in other cultures. This interested me because I didn't really ever learn about self-concept before I took this class, so whenever I was reading about it, I just thought it was really interesting, and it also just informed me more about myself that I didn't really know at that age. And I thought it was really cool how at my middle age I was doing all this that I didn't even really know I was doing at the time. From my personal experience, whenever I was growing up, I was constantly comparing myself to all my friends and people in my class, just their outfits, or maybe they had more friends than me, and I was constantly letting it tear me down, which looking back, I shouldn't have let it do that, but I think every kid at that age does that, and it's kind of hard not to. But I think from my experiences, I would want everyone to learn just that everybody struggles with self-concept and self-esteem, and I just think it's important to be nice to everyone and be nice to yourself, especially I wish I could have told myself that when I was at that age, that just because you don't have, the shoes that everybody else is wearing doesn't mean you're not as good as them. And yeah, thank y'all for listening.